Okay, if everyone's here, I shall start with the opening proceedings. So thank you very much everyone in attendance in the chamber today, and to anyone watching online for today's meeting of the Licensing Subcommittee. And also thank you again very much for your patience, as this has been deferred from an early meeting. So thank you all very much for your patience again. So before we begin the meeting, I'd just like to run through the fire safety arrangements. There are no fire alarm drills scheduled for today, so if you do hear an alarm, please assume it to be genuine, in which case leave all your possessions in the chamber and exit via the chamber doors and follow the fire exit signs down the stairs, out the front doors to the right and out towards Knoll Road Car Park, which is the fire assembly point. Don't use the lift. If you can't use stairs, then do raise that to my attention now or during the meeting, and I'll look to sort out some other alternative accommodations if needs be, and don't return into the building until a relevant individual has informed you it's safe to do so. Just wait for me to say that it's safe to come back in. On that note, we'll begin with the first item on the agenda, which is the election of a chair. Members, are there any, could I please have a nomination for the position of chair? Councillor Rakes?
Yeah, I'd like to nominate Councillor Helen Whitcroft as
Thank you.
chair.
And could I have a seconder, please?
I'd like to nominate Councillor Whitcroft as the chair.
Thank you very much, Councillor Olmo. In which case, I can declare that Councillor Helen Whitcroft is assuming the role of chair for the meeting, and I shall pass duties over to you.
Right, again, it comes to me to say thank you, because obviously cancelling last time was sadly unavoidable, but patience, as James said, is certainly appreciated. Now, before we begin, if I could ask my colleagues to introduce themselves. Obviously, it makes sense for me to start. I'm Helen Whitcroft. I'm the chairman of licensing. I've been on the council for 6 years now, and Frimley Green is my current ward. Jack.
I am Councillor Jacques Olmo, representing Frimley Green, and I'm sitting in a licensing committee.
Councillor Bob Rakes from Heatherside. I've been on licensing since I was elected in May 23, wasn't it? Yeah. And have sat on several subcommittees.
Thank you both. Could I ask officers and then perhaps go around the room if that's okay, to introduce themselves? James, perhaps we could start with you, please.
Thank you, Chair. So my name is James Hall. I'm the Democratic Services Officer here at Surrey Heath Borough Council, and I'll be clerking and minuting today's meeting.
My name is Emily Saji. I'm the legal advisor to the panel for today's hearing.
Good morning. I'm Paula Barnshaw. I'm the Senior Licensing Officer at Surrey Heath Borough Council. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Rob Carney. I'm the Licence and Enforcement Officer for Surrey Police.
Edward Elton, Council, appearing on behalf of Surrey Police.
Good morning, Katrina Macbeth, Senior Trading Standards Officer, Buckinghamshire and Surrey Trading Standards.
Lovely, thank you all very much. Right, so moving on then to item 2 on the agenda this is a standard item in relation to declarations of interest. I wonder, please, would members of the subcommittee please confirm that they have no disclosable pecuniary or affected interest in the application before us this morning? I personally do not.
I have no pecuniary or non-pecuniary interests in the matter.
Okay.
I don't have any interest on the matter neither.
Lovely, thank you. So moving on to item 3 then. The purpose of the hearing today, this item, is to determine the application to review the premises licence of the wine shop at 149 London Road, Bagshot. Before we begin, I'd like to just check with all parties that the agenda and bundles of papers have been received.
On behalf of the police, yes.
Yes, they have been received. Thank you.
You have? Yeah, okay.
Trading Standards haven't, Madam Chair.
Okay.
I have seen
Oh,
previously,
okay, so
but,
you're
but we
happy
haven't,
to...
but we
right,
haven't received
okay,
it.
brilliant, thank you. Right, okay. On the agenda, I'd like to draw your attention to item 3. You'll see on there that the procedure that we're going to follow today has been set out. I just want to make sure that everyone understands the order of business that will follow. Okay. So moving on to item 4 then, the determination of the application to review the premises licence at the wine shop of 149 London Road, Bagshot. So if we're all ready, I'm going to call upon Paula Barnshaw first, the Council's licensing officer, to present a summary of your report, if you wouldn't mind, please.
Thank you, Chair. Basically, my report lists the review of by the police of the premises licence of 149 London Road, Bagshot. The police have listed numerous occasions when, or 2 occasions when underage sales have been made by staff at the shop. Sorry, I've left my notes behind. Yes. I've got, well, I'll start again. My report lists the a review by the police of the wine shop premises licence, namely under the prevention of crime and disorder and the protection of children from harm. All 4 licensing objectives have been listed, but I would say those are the 2 main ones that we'll be looking at. A shop assistant, the same shop assistant on 2 occasions within a short period of time, sold alcohol to a test purchaser, so a child under the age of 18. And basically that's the gist of the police's. That there have been numerous failures over a period of time. We have attempted to work with the premises licence holder with training records and refusals and so on. But yeah, that's the. Thank you.
Okay, lovely, thank you. The panel will now hear from. Sorry, I put my teeth in. We'll now hear the representations from the responsible authorities and other parties. Please note that your written recommendations have been circulated to all parties, as we confirmed earlier, and have been carefully read by the panel. Would those addressing the committee please clearly state their name and who they represent when making their representations? Obviously, everybody's already introduced themselves, but if you could do that, that would be great. There are no time restrictions enforced for this committee, nor does it restrict the numbers of speakers who it expects to hear. However, having said that, please consider carefully whether what you're saying is adding further to what has actually been said. Interest parties are reminded that the committee will not attach weight to the volume of oral submissions. The committee is only able to consider the review in relation to the 4 licensing objectives: the prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, the prevention of public nuisance, and the protection of children from harm. I now call upon the clerk to confirm who the speakers are today.
Thank you very much, Chair. Today we'll be hearing from Rab Carney and Edward Elton representing Surrey Police, Katrina Macbeth representing Buckinghamshire and Surrey Trading Standards, and Meninda Kaur and Amanda Singh Kapoor representing the premises licence holder.
Lovely, thank you. So, committee, are there any questions at this stage? Should we just proceed? Yep, okay. So, Surrey Police representatives, if you would mind presenting, that would be great.
Edward Elton, Counsel, on behalf of Surrey Police. Every review that you carry out is carried out with the aim of promoting the 4 licensing objectives. And your own statement of licensing policy, in force since 2021 says at paragraph 7.3, the licensing process is focused on controlling the immediate harms associated with alcohol sales at particular premises, with all licensing decisions relating specifically to the premises in question and their promotion of the 4 statutory licensing objectives. In this case, as has been outlined by the report from licensing, particularly we are concerned with the prevention of crime and the protection of children from harm, because we are dealing with underage sales of alcohol to children. But of course, the other 2 licensing objectives are not being promoted when there is the underage sale of alcohol. You do, I am sure, and must take underage sales particularly seriously. The Section 182 revised guidance issued to you sets out at paragraph 2.29, the government believes that it is completely unacceptable to sell alcohol to children. And your own guidance at paragraph 21.15 says, your own policy at paragraph 21.15 says, in keeping with the guidance, the licensing subcommittee will treat underage sales as serious criminal activity and will give consideration to the suspension or revocation of a licence if a review is brought in respect of underage sales. Well, it will not be news to you since you've read the agenda pack. This is a review brought under the heading of underage sales. And you will, of course, have noted that the sale of alcohol to a minor is a criminal offence in its own right under Section 146 of the Licensing Act 2003. And you will have noted that the man who carried out the most recent 2 detected underage sales has been warned for prosecution. And he is going through the process where the police are considering whether he can be diverted or whether he must be prosecuted. But that is an ongoing criminal investigation. In respect to this premises, the wine shop and this designated premises supervisor, Manda Singh Kapoor, there was a failed test purchase. You'll remember this from the supplement, the first supplement statement, that it's, I'll give you the page numbers, I know you have it all to hand anyway. The first supplement at page 43 in your bundle. But to summarise that, because you have it and you will have read it, on the 2nd of February 2003, 2 16-year-olds, as part of a test purchase, were able to buy cider from an employee called Menda Malhotra. There was no check for their ages. As I say, that was a police operation, a test purchase. So it was all set up and carefully monitored. You will, of course, consider that to be very serious. But, as your own policy sets out, essentially when there's been a detected underage sale, you will have to consider warning, suspension, or revocation. And in respect to that first one, the licence was not affected. There was, you might have been able to pass that off as a one-off failure, an aberration. But the follow-up by the Surrey Police showed that the annual fee for the licence had not been paid. So in fact, nobody could lawfully have been sold alcohol on that date, regardless of their age, because the fee hadn't been paid and the licence had therefore been suspended. And emails informing the designated premises supervisor, Mr. Kapoor, had not been acknowledged or answered. Functioning CCTV system was a condition of the licence. It was found not to be working on the day of that police test purchase operation, where the 16-year-olds were able to buy cider from the employee in the shop. If that had been the basis for this review, you would have to have considered closely whether suspension was enough or whether it would have to be revocation. But you'd have been wholly satisfied. It was, at the very least, the warning territory at that point. So much for the background. Turning to the events that actually did prompt this review. 2 years later, on the 3rd of February 2025, there was another test purchase operation at this shop. Alcohol was sold to a 16-year-old. Both the statutory guidance binding upon you and your own policy show that to be serious criminality. And you'll remember that's just 2 years after the last time there was a detected underage sale. Of course, we simply don't know what happened otherwise, not least because there was no CCTV functioning. No reason for that failure in February of this year could amount to a good reason, especially in the light of that relatively recent failed test purchase in 2023. After that occasion, on the 3rd of February this year, Maninder Singh Kapoor, the designated premises supervisor, was provided with training materials, a pack of training materials, and at the end of it, a log, as you might expect. You as councillors have to do training. You'd have to sign to say you've attended that training, and you might have to date it or sign it or whatever. There was a similar sort of template for the staff in the shop. Move forward 3 months in time to the 8th of May. There was a second test purchase operation and a second failure this year. The same man, Rikul Patel, sold alcohol to a 16-year-old girl. He asked her for ID, and her passport was handed over. I think in contrast to the public pack, you have, as part of your pack, the actual passport photograph. And you can see that the date there is in no way obscured. And you can see how young she looks in that document. That is her passport. This, as I say, was a police test purchase operation.
Plus, yes, age.
Yes. He did also ask her age. So that is perhaps a small tick in favour of this premises licence. She said she was 16. He then happily sold her the alcohol. It was an Alco Pop, a Desperado Mojito. He sold it to her when she had just told him she was 16 years old. As I say, that's the criminal offence for which he is awaiting a police decision about whether he's going to be prosecuted or whether he can be diverted through the checkpoint system. There was a 16-year-old boy accompanying her as part of this police operation. There was no challenge to him at all or request of ID or age of him at all, even though he was very obviously in company with the 16-year-old girl. That again is another failure. When challenged afterwards, that employee gave two, you might think, conflicting versions of events. He said he thought the year was 2006 and she would therefore be of age to buy alcohol. You've got the photograph of the passport he had in his hand. And he said he couldn't hear the age she gave in the answer because of the radio. Well, the radio was entirely within his control, wasn't it? So you might think that's not a reason at all. You might think neither of those excuses is worth even a second's reflection. Neither of them could possibly justify his behaviour that day. And you will remember that it's the duty of the designated premises supervisor to ensure that the licence conditions and the law are being abided by the staff, whether he is there or not. So it is no defence to say, oh, but I wasn't present. If the first one might have been a one-off, an aberration, the second one shows you it wasn't. And the third one shows you this was pattern. And you might think there are only two possible conclusions that you can draw. Either the staff were operating as they had been told to, selling alcohol to children as a matter of routine, or the supervision was so lax that it doesn't amount to supervision at all, and therefore the licensing objectives were not and could not have been promoted by this shop. If he can't supervise from afar, when he's not physically present, then he's not supervising. And the licence conditions have been breached, the law has been broken, and criminal offences have been committed. There was, as you might expect, a follow-up visit from the police licensing team. On that follow-up visit, the licence holder could not show any evidence of training that staff had undergone since that pack had been given to them. In fact, they couldn't even show the pack. It had been lost. It was so important to the shop that they'd lost it and couldn't show that there had been any training undergone by the staff, let alone the filling out of the names and dates and signatures to show that they had been trained. That too, you might think, shows the culture at this shop. And I stop here to point out, you do have in your pack a list of people's names and signatures saying they like the shop very much and terribly keen for it not to cease to exist. That's not what you're considering. What you're considering is this iteration of the shop promoting the 4 licensing objectives. Because, of course, if you do revoke the license today, the business can be sold. And somebody who will actually try to promote the licensing objectives can then obtain a license and operate the shop. So whilst that impressive list of names does exist and you will look at it, nobody's saying it has to stop being a shop. What we are saying is you must consider revocation of this owner's license, this designated premises supervisor's position. So you might think in the light of that, you can safely put to one side the what's it called? Petition. Thank you. Forgot the word petition. Since that visit, on the visit, no refusals book could be shown. And you might think, well, it doesn't look like there was operating one. Since that time, we do now, of course, have pages put forward by the licence holder. Your page 59 in the bundle. And it's that's the reason I can't find it, I'm looking at the wrong pages. And it's a list of supposed refusals. You will note the same handwriting. It's obviously the same handwriting. When you look down the comments, no ID, no ID, no ID, that is very obviously the same hand. You might think it's done at the same time because, as happens when we write out when we were at school and we got lines, the writing always gets less good as you go on because you're going as fast as you can. No ID, exactly the same choice of words, written, you might think, by exactly the same hand, doesn't look like something that's been done in real time. It looks like somebody fudging their homework on the bus, you might think. And when it's got the signatures, even though the signatures change on some of these refusals, the handwriting up to that point remains the same. So either one person filled the whole thing out and then somebody else signed the last 2 bits on the staff members on numbers 7 and 8 on this refusal book, the one that's landscape, not portrait. Or this was all done after the event in, you might think, a transparent and unsuccessful attempt to bluff you that there was a refusals book in operation, even though it couldn't be shown to the police licensing team when they asked for it in the shop after the second failure at test purchase this year. And if you do come to the conclusion that there's been dishonesty, then you cannot possibly have faith that this licence holder is attempting to promote those 4 licensing objectives. The pattern is clear. 3 failed test purchases, 2 of them this year, prompting this review. Your own policy says you must treat this as serious criminality. You will consider the various stages, but it is the respectful submission of the police that in these circumstances, where the frequency and intensity of the failures are as they are before you, and where there has been such an obvious attempt after the event to try to pull the wool over your eyes, that only revocation is suitable. Anything else?
Could I just...
the CCTV. Yes, there was...
Supplementary.
Yes, supplementary number 2. I'm grateful. It's at your page 47. It's on the same theme that I've just been talking to you about. On the 8th of July, Mr. Kapoor was unable to show any of the refusals on the CCTV. It's a condition of the licence that the CCTV should be kept for the month, but his was only recording for a week. It could be an innocent enough failure to abide by a licensing condition, but still a breach of his licence conditions, or it could have been to evade detection as soon as possible after the event. Only he could tell you that, but either way, he's breached his licence condition by having the CCTV set up in that way. When asked to show the most recent refusal, And bear in mind, he was the one who chose what to show the licensing team. He showed a no sound bit of footage of a child making a purchase and showed that to the licensing team as an instance of a refusal, where the shop did what it should, no ID shown, refused to sell alcohol. Mr. Carney said, "Can we have it with the sound?" and was told by Mr. Kapoor, "Oh no, I don't know how to do that." Mr. Carney said, "See that? Click on that, we'll get the sound." It was played again, this time with sound. And the little incident that Mr. Kapoor offered up to the licensing team as an instance of a refusal, it was abundantly clear from the audio that the fellow asked for some sweets and a non-alcoholic drink, and at no stage did he ask for alcohol. So either Mr. Kapoor had such a slack grasp of the refusals that he offered up an incident that wasn't a refusal, and purely by chance didn't have the sound activated on playback. Or again, he dishonestly tried to pass off a fellow asking for some sweets and a can of Coke as being a refusal in operation, which it was factually not. And again, if you don't find the licence holder to be honest, you cannot possibly have faith in anything he says to you or in his desire to promote the licensing objectives, which he has a duty to do. No. Those are our submissions. Thank you. I forgot that. Excitement. I'll answer what I can from the papers, but if you want it from the horse's mouth, we do have Mr. Carney, who was the one who was physically there.
That's lovely, thank you. Did the licence holder have any questions that they wanted to put to the police representatives at this stage?
No, thank you.
Lovely. So I now call upon the Buckinghamshire and Surrey Trading Standards representative to present their case, if you wouldn't mind, please.
Madam Chair, it's quite clearly laid out in our letter of representation in the supporting statement. My colleague sitting beside me has gone through it in quite a lot of detail. The only thing I would add to that is that it is never appropriate for a child to be asked how old they are, because we all know that children lie. That is not an appropriate way of doing a challenge. The only appropriate thing to do is to ask for the appropriate ID. It's concerning if the member of staff is being allowed to sell age-restricted products if he can't read properly or he has a problem with his eyesight. And that should have been identified by the premises licence holder in DPS. There should have been, the failure in 2023 should have resulted in the business, the premises licence holder in DPS, reviewing their policies, procedures and training and identify any weaknesses and any additional controls to be put in place. That should have also happened after the first sale in 2025, and there's no evidence of that. So Trading Standards' stance is to fully support the police in their application, and it does appear that the only appropriate action is revocation.
Okay, thank you. Again, do you have any questions you'd like to put to Trading Standards at this point?
No, thank you.
If you'd like to go on to outline your case, that would be good. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Melinda Kaur representing Mr. Mender Singh Kapoor, premises licence holder. I'd like to say that Mr. Kapoor deeply regrets the breaches that have occurred and accepts responsibility as a designated premises supervisor. However, we respectfully submit that revocation of the premises licence should be a last resort. The wine shop has been trading for a long period of time and has been running smoothly. Yes, there have been a few incidences. However, Mr. Mender Singh Kapoor has tried his best in committing to addressing all the concerns raised. In regards to the recent visit in relation to the CCTV system, that has been upgraded to ensure full 30-day retention, addressing the breach in the recent visit. We accept the refusal log system had shortcomings. However, Mr. Kapoor has said that was a mere confusion. It wasn't to, it was no malicious intent. It was just a simple human error that had occurred. He had informed us that those customers that regularly come in are always joking around to get an alcoholic drink, and he has always said no to them. So he had assumed, while they were having a conversation between themselves, that they would ask for an alcoholic drink again. We also believe that a temporary suspension of the licence or an appropriate additional conditions to be added onto the licence instead of a revocation. This could include the retraining for all staff. There's a staff training manual here that has been given to all staff members and gone through. The premises is a small family-run store and it plays a positive role in the community. I know it's already been mentioned about the petition of support from regular customers. There hasn't been no public nuisance or disorder at the premises. We do submit that the breaches have taken place. However, Mr. Mender Singh Kapoor is sorry and apologises and regrets his mistake and would like to take steps to uphold the licensing objectives and is committed to prove the highest standards of compliance, and therefore we feel that with additional appropriate conditions added to the licence or a temporary submission by the committee is what we request. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Rates, Councillor Olmo, any questions for...
Sorry, I have one to start. Yeah, page 13 on the... so this is to the police. Just a clarification, I think I understand. There are the police recommendations there. There are 4 recommendations. I'm assuming that recommendations 2, 3 and 4 would be combined. So in other words, 1 should be 1 and 2 should be 2A, 2B, 2C, rather than 4 individual alternatives. Can I just clarify that?
Yes, we say police recommendation is 1. And actually, to take it a stage further, we'd say recommendation 528, A, B and C, to give you an idea of the distance we place between the sufficiency of recommendation 1 and the sufficiency of anything else. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. I had a second one, if I may, Chair. Just one of the statements, one of the police statements, seems to have a mistake in it, page 40, where the statement says that this young lady who was served alcohol was 16 but born in 2006. Now, I'm assuming that's just a typo and that the police officer knows how to calculate the age.
Yes. Yes, it's a typing error and nothing more. And you can have confidence in that from the other statements from the other police officers. And in fact, from the line above. So it's a simple typing error that we will pass back to PC White in due course.
Thank you. Those are the questions I had.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any amendments?
Only one, yes. For how long you been running the shop?
Is it from 2013? This shop?
Yes.
I got a 2013, but I have some problem. But my wife runs a couple of years on his name, everything, because I have back problem and I can't run. We got a treatment in India when they told we can't pay the fees. We transfer my thingy, we go to India to treatment and then we come back. That's why I'm a little bit late for paying the fees, because I have my back problem and I do treatment and everything from India. Then after that we take over and do the business.
Okay, thank you.
From 2013 and I think in the same business and same premises.
Okay, thank you. Now, I have a few, and I'm going to have to ask you to bear with me while I find the right pages. I am looking at the moment at the refusals log, and I can't find the refusals in there for the month of May, and I wondered if there was a reason for that, please. It goes from the 2nd of May to the 1st of June, which goes across pages 60 and 61.
Would you like me to pass it around? It's not in the agenda. It's not in the supplementary.
I just wondered why, that was all. I get the gist of what it is, obviously, but...
Do you want me to pass this around to you? I think it just didn't get scanned in. I think that's just been...
Oh, okay, all
Yeah?
right, but it is there and it has been done?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Unless anybody else wants to see it, that's fine. No, okay.
We'll be hoping to confirm what dates they've got for May,
The...
because this one ends on the 2nd of May and then starts again.
Yeah, the last one is
3rd of May.
May, and then the... Yes, sorry, would you mind just confirming the start and finish dates that you've got on that sheet then? Because we have here the 3rd of May is the last one and the 1st of June is the second one. Could you confirm for me, please, what the dates are on those missing sheets?
So that's 30th May. May here is the last date, and then it starts from 1st of June. So that's 30th May, we have last here, 30th May as an entry for May.
Could I just check that all parties are happy for, if you want to share that with the committee, is everyone happy to review that additional page just so everyone can see it in person? Can I just get everyone's agreement that they're happy to see it?
Yeah, unless there's any objections, that probably seems like a good idea, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
It's unusual, but if it's going to be helpful for the subcommittee, then of course. Chair, we have a question based upon this, but since this is the only copy everyone has, it's just that we seem to have the same date appearing in two different books. which is odd, if it's a
Right,
legitimate
okay, yeah, would you
document.
mind, do go ahead.
Shall I
with
ask the
that,
question,
because-
hand
yeah,
this
the other-
back, they can answer, then you can see
Sure,
what
I
we've
was
both been
gonna-
talking about.
yeah,
Is that
that's
the easiest way
brilliant.
to achieve
Yeah, that's
this?
grand, thank you.
So the question is this. Yes. Sorry, Stephen, I'm going to talk. The question, no, I need to, because we don't have copies of it, I'll forget what I'm saying. Looking at page 59 of the agenda pack, this is a refusals page that you couldn't provide at the time of the visit, but have since then sent in. And we can see the first date on page 59 is the 10th of February 2025. The last date of the main block is the 18th of March 2025. And you've heard me say the point about this is identical handwriting throughout, even though the signatures change. Underneath that, on page 59, there's an entry that appears to be the 30th of April 2025, alcohol, schoolgirl, no ID. And no ID, again, is the same hand has written that as has written all the others. Underneath that is 2nd of May 2025, vape, something, boy, and again, no ID, written by the same person who's written it every single time. My question is, given the new thing that's arrived today, and that you've handed up, it's the first of the bigger pages on the left-hand side, this is a different document, but covers some of the same dates. So is this, were you running not one but two refusals books, none of which you could find at the time of the visit, or did you forget when you were cobbling this together after the review was launched and forget which dates you'd already covered? That's my first question. Now, thank you, James. Well spotted.
Hello, hello, John. Okay, these ones has said a new one, but this one we showed to Mr. Rob 3 times in my shop on my counter. I show them, look, Mr. Rob, from the February, because I don't have you don't provide me any book, nothing, because he promised me he gonna provide me the book. On that time, he not provide me any kind of like training or any refusal book. And I told him, look, Mr. Rob, after your visit, this from February till now, we're doing these all refusals. I show him, and he check it as well on my front, and he check all the pages like this. And then after that, we go to my Manila Corps, and we take my training and everything. When they visit again, I show him, look, now I got my training stuff, everything. And after that, next day, he gonna provide me another training book. That's my answer.
Thank you. Ms Barnshaw, could you confirm that for me? Do the council provide refusal books?
No.
But it is a condition of the licence that...
It is a condition of the licence, but no, we don't provide them.
Right,
Never
thank
have.
you. Did Mr Eldon, did you want to come back?
Not me, in fact, but the officer you've just heard was apparently been shown these things in the shop. Would definitely like to tell you
Lovely.
whether or not he was ever
Okay,
shown these
Mr.
things in the shop.
Carney then,
Mr.
please.
Carney.
I initially issued Mr. Kapoor with a similar book to this, which is a refusal package to assist him to train his staff. And in this package, there are various documents, and there's refusal logs, and there's a training incident. Now, when I questioned Mr. Kapoor when this was coming through, he then said to me, I didn't give him a log. I didn't give him a book. And I said, I definitely gave him a package to assist him with his training. And he says they couldn't find it. And then he says that I didn't give him one. So I then said, I will give you another one. Yeah, but due to leave in time, it took me a couple of weeks but I then issued him with another training package like this one to help him to train his staff. Now, I don't know why he's saying I didn't give him one of these, because there is no reason for me to say I did if I didn't. I mean, he was given a training package. He couldn't find it. He lost it, and now he's trying to say that I didn't give him one. Well, I know for a fact I did.
Okay, that's great. That answers my question. In fact, I sent it to the to Ms. Barnshaw rather than to yourself. But
Have a look at this to see what we actually give them to assist them.
right, okay, sorry. The training folder is the training folder is this one with the details in it. Is this the same as the one that you have over there, the training folder?
No, this is separate. This is a different one over here.
Right, okay. So there is a page in here, turn around, refusals log. Are you still saying, Mr. Kapur, that you've not had that one before? Right, okay. Thank you. Right, we're just going to take a break for 5 minutes. We've just got something. James, would you like to explain?
Thank you, Chair. So I think on advice with my legal representative to my right, we're just going to take a 5-minute break, not as a public meeting, just to discuss if we want to consider that as official evidence to be considered by the subcommittee when making their deliberations or not. So we'll just take a 5-minute pause. This meeting won't be public for a brief moment, just whilst we establish, do we consider that as an official evidence for your consideration or not? Yes, 5 minutes for members of the public.
Okay, I was going to say, so could you just say when that's closed down? Right, thank you for your patience. We are going to take the meeting back onto the public forum, and then I'm going to ask our legal representative to address the issue of the additional evidence, please.
During the course of this hearing, the subcommittee received additional evidence from the licence holder that had not been submitted prior to the hearing. And in exercising its discretion under the Licensing Act 2003 and Regulations 2005, the subcommittee determined that the late evidence was relevant to the issues under consideration, and its admission would not prejudice the fairness of the proceedings. All parties were given the opportunity to review and respond to the material, and the subcommittee was satisfied that admitting the evidence was necessary to ensure a full and informed determination of the application. The reasons for accepting the late evidence being recorded to ensure transparency and procedural fairness.
Thank you. Now, I still have a couple of questions, if I may. The shop assistant that is mentioned in the evidence bundle, is he still in your employment?
Yeah. Yes.
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 At that shop?
Yes.
Right, thank you. The licence Mr. Elton mentioned was suspended due to non-payment. Was there a reason for that?
Is it not suspended just for the late payment? And as I told you, I forgot the payment when they are visiting in the shop, and when they talk over the phone with me, I said totally I forgot. And within 5 minutes, we can call the council and pay the amount on that time. But we didn't get any suspension, nothing like that.
Right, okay. So
Because they are
Barsham-
visiting in the shop on that time, they says you not paid the amount, your due date is gone, and if you not paid within today or within a time, then we can suspend your license. Check. We are in the shop and we can suspend your license, or we close our alcohol section. But I talked with them over the phone and I said, give us a 5 minute and I can pay straight away to the council. We ring to the council, we pay straight away, and I give the payment reference numbers on the spot. But we don't get any suspension.
Right, okay. Ms Barnshaw, would you mind confirming the dates that we believe the licence fee was unpaid for and therefore the suspension was in order, please?
Sorry, Council, I can't give you the exact dates, but not only do I email the invoice to your email address, it's also posted to you. So unless you've moved, the invoice would still go to your home address, which I believe is on the premises licence, and also to the shop. Send it to, basically we want you to pay. So we send it to all addresses that we have and the email address. And that would have been, the first email would have gone approximately 6 weeks before the fee was due, which is on the anniversary of the grant of the licence.
Right, okay, thank you. Do you have any further comments to add?
Yeah, she's absolutely right. But as I told you, I'm not. I go for treatment in India. On that time we forget because we didn't check my emails and my letters, because when I come back, this long time ago, is it around 21 or 21? I think so. It's 2021 or 22. This time the license fees. After that we are continuously 23, 24, 25th we pay on time. Just
Right,
once
okay.
we can forget because of my health issues.
Right, okay. Moving on, what we've heard again from the police representative that there were problems with the CCTV and it wasn't working. How long passed between the time that you realised the CCTV was not working and its repair, please?
The things we got a huge fire in our premises on 2019, and after that we can hand over the keys to the landlord. And 2019 is December, Corona is coming. 2021, the landlord gave us a key on January 2021, and after that we refit the shop, everything. Just CCTV, we order it and waiting for the CCTV on that time. Because I order the CCTVs and waiting for the delivery.
Right,
Because
okay.
2 years, nearly 3 years, my shop is closed down on that time. You can see the records in your system as well.
Okay, but it was a term of the licence, was it not, that you had the CCTV working for the whole time that you were selling the alcohol? Have I misunderstood?
Yeah. No, when the 21, when we install the CCTV, after that is completely working. Completely working CCTVs, all inside, outside, all completely working.
Right, okay, so in terms of years and months then, how long was it not working?
Is it around when we got the keys and we can refit the shops around maybe 2-3 months is no license, no CCTVs over there because we ordered CCTV and the guy is coming and fix it for me.
Okay, thank you. Mr Eltimer, do you mind referring back to that? You did make a comment in your statement in relation to the amount of time that the CCTV wasn't working. Are you able to... I didn't write it down, unfortunately.
Chair,
Are you able
yes.
to confirm that, please?
You've heard that. Forgive me, it's been handed a piece of paper that in fact, I don't need for this. Could I draw your attention, please, to page 31 in the pack? This is Annex 3 to the licence that you are considering today. There's, I think, 8 or 9 points, but if I could ask you to look 5 points down, it's the first time you can see a CCTV system shall be installed, maintained and operated. To the satisfaction, sorry, please. The CCTV shall be in operation and recording whenever the premises are open to the public for licensable activities. The next one down, forgive me, the tapes shall be retained for not less than 30 days, unedited, on the premises, and made available to the police or an authorised officer together with facilities for viewing. So the point really is this, not only not working in 2023, but also not abiding by the conditions of the licence after the second test purchase in 2025. So on that July visit, still only recording 7 days, which is a breach of the licence.
Right, thank you. Thank you for confirming that. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. You mentioned that you felt that revocation was a last resort. You also said that you felt that conditions, adding conditions to the licence is appropriate. What sort of conditions have you got in mind?
It was more in regards to, of course, crime and disorder. Obviously here we don't have any limitations in regards to that for selling alcohol, like a specific limit on the amount of, you know, how some places have single cans, etc. If that was something that the committee was to not revoke the licence and add conditions to ensure that stricter, robuster conditions are put in place, again with the CCTV footage, adding more conditions in regards to that, ensuring that they are put in place and are complied with and aren't, mainly CCTV and crime and disorder.
Right, okay, that's lovely, thank you. And if you could confirm for me, please, the conversation has worked quite a way around training the staff. Now, obviously, Mr. Carney said that he'd delivered the training pack to you, and I think, Ms. Barnshaw, did you say you had provided some training materials as well?
No, sorry, the council don't provide training
Right,
material.
so that was passed via the police, that was sent by yourselves. So having received the training pack, could you just confirm for me, both as far as this employee is concerned and anyone else, what training, very specific training, have you undertaken, please?
So in regards to this employee, Nikhil Patel, he has undergone a level 2 awarded for personal licence holders. So he has a personal licence holder to sell alcohol, and that's without, even if it's like without authorization of the DPS, when the DPS needs a personal license to be able to have a premises license holder, and then they have to authorize their staff in order to sell alcohol when in their absence. However, Nikhil Patel is now qualified to be able to sell alcohol without even the authorization of the DPS because he holds a personal license. So he has undergone a level 2 training now.
Okay, thank you. And anybody else that works in the store?
Yeah, Maninder Singh Vig. Maninder Singh Vig. Personal license.
And Maninder Singh Vig is another staff and he's undergone the same training as well, level 2 for personal license.
Right, that's me come to an end. Is there
I've got one more.
one more? Right, lovely, thank you.
To the police, on page 11, as you said earlier, all 4 licensing objectives were stated as reasons for this meeting, and 2 of them are very clear: the prevention of crime and the protection of children. I just wondered if there was any specific evidence or any specific concerns about public safety or the prevention of public nuisance based on the licensing issues.
The obvious overarching head, as it were, of argument for prevention of public nuisance is an intoxicated child is exponentially more likely to create public nuisance than a sober child. And if the wine shop wasn't selling alcohol to minors, then it wouldn't be creating the risk of public nuisance of drunk children, essentially, to put it unvarnished. And the same for public safety. A drunk child more likely to lurch out into traffic than a sober child. A drunk child more likely to make a daft decision that might put them or someone else at risk than a sober child. And as we know, the source of drunk children is the source of underage sales, which is the wine shop under this ownership and this licence.
Thank you. Would you like to go back, Councillor?
No, I think that's clear. There's not any specific evidence. It's just a general risk which we understand. Thank you.
Right, I'd just like to be sure, having heard the evidence that the applicant made, we have obviously gone on and asked questions, and there have been issues that I've referred back to Mr. Alton as well. Are there any other matters that anybody wishes to bring forward?
Just closing remarks from here. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, is there anything?
That's the same for us closing. Thank you.
Okay, so at this point then, I will ask the both parties to sum up. I would obviously, as this is summing up, ask that you do not introduce any new information or evidence at this stage. Could I ask the licence holder to sum up first, please?
As we have already mentioned, designated premises supervisor Mr. Kapoor is willing to commit to having high standards of compliance. He does regret the breaches that have occurred, however he is willing to work on them with appropriate conditions, and we feel that a temporary suspension would be more suitable than the revocation of the licence to ensure that it gives them time to allow for training and more to ensure everything is complied within the premises. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alton.
You have 3 instances of criminality under this licence. Those 3 test purchases failed. Those are each individually a failure of supervision. And as you've heard from Mr. Kapoor, on one of those occasions, he wasn't even in this country. How he could be supervising the shop when he's not even in the jurisdiction was not explained to you by the licence holder. You might think it's the opposite of supervision to be halfway across the world and concerned with your health problems. I don't place any blame for him for having the back issue, but clearly the wine shop was not being supervised then by anybody, let alone the designated premises supervisor. You have a situation where in this year, when he was asked for for the refusals log, he said he couldn't find it. When he was asked for the record of training, he said he couldn't find it. And then after the review was announced to him, suddenly we have all these pages of refusals log that he couldn't find before, including pages where the same date appears on more than one sheet of paper, which is odd if it's legitimate. At the bottom of March, you have an April date and a May date, and then you have a whole sheet, including that May date. And don't forget, there's a signature on that page, I think it's about page 40, page 59. There's a signature, sort of, this is the end of the page, 3rd of May, and then you have the new sheet today, which seems to incorporate dates before the 3rd of May. If it was legitimate, why would that be there? And if you can't be satisfied of the honesty of the premises licence holder, then you are going to have significant doubts about his suitability. We say your options at this point are revocation or suspension. You cannot possibly add a condition that he abides by the conditions. And everyone has accepted this morning that he's not abiding by the conditions at Annex 3 on page 31. You can't possibly put a condition that he abides by the condition that he abides by the condition. It's a nonsense. You've not had any sensible offers of extra conditions because there can't be any. Your choices are revoke this licence, where there have been 3 instances of serious criminality, or you suspend in the hope that there'll be even more training than you've heard has happened since these test purchases. What more training could there be if you're at level 2 already, and yet these things have happened? You might think, well, what would more training do? So you might think, well, there's no objective to suspension. You're faced with, realistically, only revocation, meeting the seriousness of this series of breaches. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Elton. Do you have any closing comments?
No, Madam Chair, I think my colleague is.
Lovely, thank you. Can I just confirm, please, with both parties that you've said all you wish to say in connection with the case, if I may? Yep, lovely. Right, the committee will now leave the room to deliberate. I would ask that you all remain in the room, as we may need to call you back if there are any further points of clarification. The committee will leave the room with the clerk and legal advisor in order for the decision to be recorded and for clarification on any legal issues. Has anyone any objections to the legal advisor leaving with the committee?
No objection.
Lovely, thank you very much. Thank you for patience and for waiting. We have come to a decision. I'm just going to read the decision notice as is probably the easiest way to do it. So, in accordance with its powers under section 52(4) of the Licensing Act of 2003, and having regard to the Home Office section 182 guidance February 25, particularly paragraphs 11, 27, 11, 28, the subcommittee has decided to revoke the premises licence for the wine shop 149 London Road, Bagshot. This decision is considered necessary and proportionate to promote the licensing objectives and protect the public from harm. The reasons for the decisions are as follows. The subcommittee has carefully considered all the evidence presented and concluded that the premises licence holder has failed to uphold the licensing objectives as set out in Section 4 of the Licensing Act of 2003. The evidence demonstrated a pattern of serious and repeated breaches that collectively undermine all four licensing objectives. The prevention of crime and disorder was compromised by the unauthorised sale of alcohol whilst the premises licence was suspended, the sale of psychoactive paraphernalia and the failure to comply with CCTV and record-keeping devices. B. Public safety was undermined in relation to the sale of alcohol to minors, increases of alcohol-related harm, the lack of staff training and supervision may contribute towards unsafe practices, the sale of unlabelled food and alcohol products, and the absence of traceability and price compliance, which poses risks to consumer health and safety. C. The prevention of public nuisance. No evidence was directly submitted under this objective, so this was not directly engaged in this case. The prevention of children from harm was directly and repeatedly breached through multiple sales of alcohol to minors, including one instance where a valid passport indicated the buyer's age was disregarded. The designated premises supervisor, Mr. Kapoor, failed to implement and maintain basic safeguards such as Challenge 25, staff training and proper record keeping. The absence of training records and a refusal register, coupled with the evidence of fabricated entries, further eroded the subcommittee's confidence in the premises' ability to operate responsibly. The subcommittee considered whether lesser steps, such as the suspension of licence, imposition of additional conditions or removal of the DPS would be sufficient to promote the licensing objectives. However, given the persistent systemic and serious nature of the breaches, the subcommittee determined that such measures would not adequately prevent future harm or restore public confidence. Accordingly, the subcommittee concluded that revocation of the premises licence is both necessary and proportionate to promote the licensing objectives and to protect the public from harm. The licence holder is, of course, entitled to appeal this decision to the Magistrates' Court. Any such appeal must be lodged within 21 days of the date on which the licence holder is notified of this decision, in accordance with Schedule 5 of the Licensing Act of 2003. Under the Licensing Act of 2003, the licensing authority decision, following a review hearing, the licensing authority may decide to revoke the premises licence, which is, as we've already heard, what we have done today. The appeal period, the licence holder has 21 days from the date of notification of the decision to appeal to the Magistrates' Court. The effect of appeal: if an appeal is lodged within that period and the revocation is suspended until the appeal is resolved. And 4, no appeal. If no appeal is made within 21 days, then the revocation takes effect at the end of that period. This process ensures procedural fairness and gives the licence holder an opportunity to challenge the decision before it's enforced. Now, I would like to go back because I did refer to all four of the objective as being satisfied. The public nuisance, as I said in the when I read out, was not. So it is actually only 3 of the 4 objectives that were satisfied. Okay, so it just leaves me to thank everybody for coming. Thank you for your time. Thank you both very much, and thank you as always to our officers who always support us exemplary. I'm always very, very grateful. So thank you very much. And to say to have a safe journey home. Thank you.